Okay, today I want to talk about a philosophy of saving myself. Okay, saving ourselves, saving myself. Can we actually save ourselves from ourselves? Okay, I'm in a continuous battle with myself. Continuous. It's been, for over 65 years, right? I'm going to tell you some of the battles. I'm in a battle with comfort food. Food that I eat when I get stressed. My butter pecan is my number one comfort food. That means I'm having a really bad day when I go buy a half gallon of butter pecan. Exercise. I'm in a continuous battle to exercise. Some of these battles I've really, in a way, won. Okay. Trolls. Trolls are people that attack me, and I would have never believed that the internet could be so full of people that have this insane desire to attack me. Okay, it's almost daily. Okay, women. Not finding a soulmate to marry has been a continuous dilemma for me. I don't think that you can really optimize this in a way that is. I mean, it's ironic coincidence in a lot of ways that people get married. But I've been very serious about marriage. I'm not a person that will just get married because I need somebody. Okay, number 5 is stupid. People demand that I listen and approve of their stupid comments and beliefs. This is absolutely overwhelming sometimes. People demand that I listen and approve of their stupid comments and beliefs. That's why I'm very judicious about how I allow people to get to me anymore. Because as you become an influencer or you become somebody that people trust, you think that they would want advice on how to think. That's not really what they're doing. They're looking for approval of something they're already doing. And that is not really a two-way conversation, okay? It's a one-way approval. And I realized that what they want me to do is lie to them, and 99% of people will lie, and I won't, okay? Because I'm not going to ever take my belief system, myself, my ego, and create any situation where it's a lie. I do not put up with lies in myself. I do not give lies to other people. I do not tell white lies. Okay, but normally this is how people deal with a lot of these issues that I have, is they lie to themselves. Also, okay, money. I have almost no problem earning money. But I have no desire for stuff, things, therefore little need. On the other side, I admit, right now, in the last year, June 6, 2024, I'll tell you what it is. Some of you know that I need money. Okay, that means that I'm earning less than I used to, and I'm recreating my stream of income in a way. On the other side is I'm on this Social Security. So I have full coverage insurance, and I have one of the greatest lives possible. Okay, so don't feel sorry for me, but do realize that I do want Patreons, people that I give permission to communicate with me. And I'm hoping this Sunday that we have a Patreon thing, and a Patreon Zoom meeting, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this in a easy to do way that doesn't become so onerous. Okay, sometimes it can be difficult, but life is good, guys. I am one of the luckiest persons alive. Okay, I want to tell you a quote. You cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So if you want to save yourself, you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. Albert Einstein said this. And he's brilliant, right? He understands that if we're having certain problems, that the solution is not in our heads, okay? It has to come from outside our brains. Okay, can you accept that you have a thinking problem that cannot be solved by your brain or willpower? Can you do that? I'm not sure. I think there's some sort of cognitive bias that says, I am infallible, I'm perfect, I'm okay, I never need anybody's help. And that is silliness, okay? But others but others have solved them. There are problems that other people have solved that you think there is no such thing as a unique person in a way. Everybody has very similar problems. Yes, my problem on trolls is a little bit different than normal, but every person is a genius in something. We're all very good in something, but everybody's um, but every person is a human is okay. Every human is a genius in some things and blind to the fact that they will never solve some specific problems. You have to accept that you are not going to solve every specific problem that you ever encounter. We can lose the battle with food, become fat for 50, 60, 70 years. People constantly lose this battle. It's kind of a world thing. It's not just the United States. They just wear different clothes in other countries that covers up the fat better. But every country is getting fat. It's not just the United States. And what they say all the time to me is, I have no willpower. That is, to me, ludicrous. Okay? Willpower is the most ridiculous notion on mankind. We will do what we want to do. This is willpower. We will do what we want to do. We won't do what we don't want to do. That is the nature of humans. We don't really have willpower the way you think of it. Yes, we can make choices. There's a moment where we can make a choice to do the right thing, and it puts us on a different path. That's about the amount of willpower we have. It's like stopping at an ice cream shop and eating, and you're sitting there going, I'm not going to have anything. That's like torturing yourself, right? The way to have willpower is to make a choice, okay? It's not this ongoing, steady, I'm fighting this, fighting this, fighting this. We lose those battles, okay? But most people lose the battle on weight and exercise. And it's kind of humorous to me because there are so many ways to enter into an exercise program or some ways to exercise that is enjoyable. If it's not enjoyable, we're not going to do it. That's the bottom line on life. If we do not enjoy what we're doing, we don't do it, okay? It's just kind of a fact of life. So you want to get people, when you employ people, you want to get them doing something they enjoy doing, okay? There's people that love meticulous work. There's people that love accounting. There's people that love different things. If you're going to have the best job in the world, it should be a job that you love to do. Okay, that's to me the best thing. I haven't really worked a day in my life because I've always been self-employed doing something I enjoy doing. Okay, now the problem with a lot of jobs or things is that the number of people that are stupid that you have to deal with is increasing at an incredible rate. Because now we have this idea that everybody thinks they're a genius because they have Google to search on. Okay, but if you have a chronic problem, like I just outlined mine, right? I have a problem with comfort food, eating too much. I can't always get the. See, I didn't have any kind of problem exercising when I lived in the United States. It's became a bigger problem traveling. I've switched it to kind of walking and doing exercise, but I really enjoy working out and exercising with other people. I had zero problem with my weight for almost 30 years. Zero, okay? Because I was in a situation where I worked out every day, and the actual, it's kind of complicated in an addiction way, but if you do opposite of what okay, so exercise is opposite of eating. Okay, if you exercise, it sort of makes you feel like not eating. Okay, so there's things that counterbalance each other. Okay, but the last thing you should do, in my opinion, is ever stay busy to avoid thinking. That is just, to me, like turning yourself into a little slave to yourself. I'll stay busy so I don't think. That, to me, is not an adult way of dealing with things, and it doesn't work for your life. You really want to be doing something every day that you enjoy, that gives you purpose. But again, Einstein said you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. It seems so simple, common sense. There's so many problems we have that we are not succeeding at. Okay, your best thinking caused a problem. Therefore, most of your best thinking is needed. Therefore, more than your best thinking is needed to solve it, which is impossible. More than your best thinking. How can you do better than what you think, right? If you've been working on your weight or stopping alcohol or doing any kind of change in your life for, 60 years, 30 years, 40 years. I mean, right now, they're starting out early. And most of the people are amazingly fat, even by age 25. It's amazing. It's an epidemic of ways, a pandemic on the whole planet. Everybody, because they're addicted to sugar, is getting fatter. And the American diet is one of the things. As a rule of thumb, anything that you put in your mouth that comes out of a package has different chemicals in it for preservative, and it's not good for you. Okay. Insanity is telling ourselves daily for years that we have willpower when we haven't proven for years we have no willpower. Insanity is telling ourselves daily for years. We tell ourselves daily that we are going to someday come to grips with this and that we have willpower when we have proven for years we have no willpower over that specific task. It's not like you cannot do certain things very, very well. There's some things we do very well and certain things do not. As in a business, when I had a business, anything that I procrastinated on, I paid somebody else to do. That means I didn't really enjoy doing it. So I did what I was good at, and I hired people to do the things that I didn't enjoy doing. But I pretty much solved the problem on exercise, trolls, women, and stupid. I'm continually closing gaps. It's a continuous thing. One of the things about but how do I solve these problems? I actually do a lot of search and study and thinking and study and thinking and study on the problem. I do not in a way, talk to myself. Sometimes I write, which writing is a good way to reveal a subconscious problem. Okay, you don't really need a consultant or you don't need a counselor if you're willing to write. Okay, because if you write, it's a discovery of your subconscious mind. Okay, and I love to write because it reveals to me what kind of subconscious games I'm being played with myself. We all play games with ourselves, okay? But exercise is really hanging around with people that I beg my sister to go to the gym and say, why don't you go to the gym with your friends and work out? She goes, I like to work out alone. But I said, you're making this a job instead of a pleasure. When you go to the gym, what happens is you talk with people and you have fun in social life. Next thing you know, you love to go to the gym every day just for the social life. So the indirect coupling of the gym with enjoyment and pleasure and social life makes things fun. There are people, though, that go to the gym and make it work. They don't normally last, okay? The people that go to the gym and make it like a happy hour make it work. I go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's a happy hour, okay? It's something fun to do. I go listen to people explain some wisdom, and they talk about some fun. It's very easy to stay sober if you make it enjoyable. On the other side, if you think that you're going there to punish yourself, you're not going to do it. You're going to get drunk. You got to make everything into something that's tempting to do because you enjoy it in a way. But I say, okay, right here was a funny thing. I have saved myself. Oops, I have not saved myself. I did not solve the problems. I found a person who had the same problems as me and copied what they did. That's his business in a nutshell. What you want to do is copy all your competition until you know exactly why they do it, then improve on it. This is how business works. You don't sit there and reinvent the wheel and try to come up with all the ideas. My one partner got really angry at me until I finally found a quote from Steve Jobs where he said, "We copy everything." The art of business is to copy, 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 copy the best until you understand why they're doing what they do. Then improve on it. Okay. I have this built-in thing that wants to say that I solved my problem. This is the titles here is save ourselves, but that's not how we do it. We really save ourselves by making the choice. We make a choice to ask for help. There's people that think they understand the big how the world works. It just doesn't work that way, guys. You really are not going to ever understand how the world works. And right now, in this world of misinformation, there's almost nothing you can trust on the internet that is propaganda. Okay, but there are specific things you can use, like YouTube for, and different videos for, is you can key in on a certain skill set that you want to learn, like how to use a computer or how to do cut and paste or how to use, there's so many things. Actually, I had a thing, and I was working on a project in Africa where I wanted to set up a video, and in their local language, not in the language Spanish, I mean, not in Spanish or French or some lingua franca. There's a business language, then they have a tribal language. And I wanted in a tribal language teach certain skill sets on videos. But they had to be interspersed with what I was going to do is have commercials that were educational. So educational commercials while they're watching a video or a film or something like that. I haven't ever got it off the thing. I realized that I needed a special vehicle for this, and now they actually, one of the problems is solved. They actually sell these suitcase television systems where you could just set it up. Then the whole impact is to create the videos to put on it, and it's an educational way to do it. But whenever you give things to people, all you do is create beggars. I think the whole aid organization is a kind of a, the whole aid organization is like a conspiracy to make other countries dependent on our country. Okay, and this dependency is a form of enslavement. Okay, the minute you give something to somebody, you enslave them. Okay, and I was trying to give information. Interesting enough, you can give all the information in the books and stuff away you want, and they don't do it. What the hard art of it is to get them to steal the stuff so they use it. But it's an old story. You want to teach somebody to fish. You don't want to give them a fish. Okay, but I'm still having problem with the comfort food. I think that I've closed down my business and the stress levels decreasing, and I'm now working on it. And I've closed off almost all access to what I would call silliness. Okay, there's people that think that they are. Well, the biggest problem is there's a lot of people that want to talk to me that believe that them talking to me makes me happy. Okay, talking to people that I like to talk to makes me happy, not talking to just anybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry. But the art of finding people that you like to talk to is an art. Okay, I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of social contact with people that don't really want anything from me, and I don't want anything from them. When somebody really wants to talk to you, it kind of causes a problem, okay? Because it's not a true relationship, it's not a true friendship, and it's not very good. But you can't solve a problem with the same mind that caused the problem. So how do you go search for information to solve? So when I want to solve a problem, I instantly start searching for solutions outside my brain. And then I couple it up with ideas and things, and then I write about it. If you're not willing to write about especially emotional problems and psychological problems, it's really hard to solve your problem. I mean, you can pay, millions of dollars to have somebody discuss your problems. On the other side is most people are not going to solve their problems. They're going to die with them. I would say that 90% of people watching this video are going to die with the problems you have. You always think that someday down the line you're going to solve these problems, but that day never comes, and one day you just fall over dead. But a person that has never been fat, now I want you to really listen to these statements. A person that has never been fat cannot explain how to become thin. You have to really have experienced the problem. A person who has never had financial problems cannot help you solve financial problems. Okay, a person who has never had an alcohol problem, been an alcoholic, cannot explain how to do it. People want to go to their doctor to talk about alcoholism. That's the dumbest thing you could possibly do. A person who has been divorced, a person that has been divorced, cannot explain how to find a soulmate. They failed at this. What you want to do is, like, my mother and father were married for like 65 years. When I wanted to have understand about relationships, I talked with them because they have a proven success. There's different ways you can look at all these things. It's not that simple, but there is always somebody that will explain to you how to succeed, because we like to help people. People that are highly successful really are very easy to talk to because they like to explain how they did it. They're natural born teachers. Okay. A person that's never been lonely is not going to be able to explain to you how to solve the problem. A stockbroker who doesn't have a net worth of 100 million doesn't know how to buy stocks. Okay, just because you have a title doesn't mean it. And this is the fallacy of universities. My one nephew came out of university. They called him a consultant. I said, I hope you have the wisdom to realize that you're not a consultant. You haven't suffered the consequences of your decisions to become a thing. Thomas Sowell writes about this, and there's Peter Robinson that interviews him all the time on the Stanford Hoover Institute. He explains continually the wisdom of the consequences of behavior. See, without consequences, you don't really become rational. Rational behavior happens because of suffering in a way. Very difficult to learn without actually experiencing the problem. Okay, but the wise person has had a lot of problems and solved a lot of problems. I'm often ashamed of the philosophers and the writers on there that when you watch them on TV, they're such a bad representation of human flesh. I believe that as a person that wants to explain how to live a good life, I have to be the best possible example of what living a good life is. I have to really work on this on a continuous basis to be the best example, because if I can't solve my own problems, how am I expecting you to listen to me? It's unfair to expect a goofball. See, a lot of people are really depressed, okay, and they want to talk about how to have a good life, but they're really depressed, okay, or they are. The only way they can make a video is if they continually edit it, flash here, flash there, flash here, until they got this perfect video, instead of being able to just talk to you. Okay, if they can't explain in simple terms what they're talking about. But I want you to realize that when you have a problem, the first place to go is outside yourself. We can't solve a problem, especially most of the psychological problems like overeating, alcoholism, workaholics, anything is a holic, sexaholic, relationships. Absolutely, right now, inside the United States, very few people are capable of having a relationship. Sad. They don't even try anymore. They gave up completely. They ignore everybody as a solution. That is not a solution. That is a failure to cope, okay? There is always a special problem where there are special people who have faced the same problem. Learn their solutions, and you are happy, and they are happy to share it. But if a person has never failed and then afterwards succeeded, it's doubtful they can explain what you need to hear to succeed. Asking people who have never had the problem is foolishness. Again, asking a person that never has had a similar problem is foolishness because they don't understand consequences. We don't save ourselves. We find people who have saved themselves and do what they do, copy what they do. Wisdom is not doing what works. It's suffering the consequences of failure than finding the people with the solutions. Okay, I'm writing a book and it's called The Philosophy of, and the philosophy of asks you, what is your philosophy on saving myself or yourself? We all have to develop our own philosophy on life. And I'm serious here. On every issue that you do, in a way, it's kind of like a prayer or a meditation or a concerted thought. What is the solution? Okay, on the other side is many people just want to talk about problems all day long. And I find that the United States people especially are addicted to problems. They have more problems than anybody I've ever seen in my life. The whole Western world is now engulfed in a kind of self-induced, hypnotic propaganda situation where they are a product of watching videos. They can no longer think because all they think about is the problem. They're not actually addressing what is the solution to these problems. There's no point in talking about the president or the vice president or the issues of the planet without thinking about possible scenarios on solution. I look at it as you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. If all you're talking about is problem, all you're doing is really gossiping. You're not really an intellectual. You're just a person. There's so many videos where they outline so many things, but they don't actually give you a course of action. So what I'm saying right here in this video is to save yourself, you got to accept that you don't have the solution in your mind, and then you go find experts that have dealt with that situation, that have solved the problem. You don't go talk to a doctor on alcoholism. This is just insanity. Okay, this is part of your dysfunctional nature to ask the wrong people for the right solutions. There's always a person that has had a similar problem. There is no person with a special problem. We all think that somehow our particular problems are special. They are not special. There's nothing unique about all the problems you're having. It's the same as everybody else on the street. Everybody has their own little traumas, and everybody's dealing with their own issues. But the wisdom is when you learn that I should be talking to other people and asking them how to solve the problems. I'm really sad right now on the divorce situation and this anger between the sexes, because this is not the way life was meant to be. The life was meant to be to share our lives with other people. That doesn't mean everybody is going to find their soulmate. I'm kind of a unique person, and I live a unique life. And I'm not going to get married unless I find the right person, which is, instead of just something to do, I want to have the right person to share my life with. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? I really have been thinking about this for years, and I never will. I'm always trying to come up with a way to explain to you, but your best thinking got you to where you have this problem, especially like overeating, alcohol, drugs, numerous marriages. These are failures, okay? And if you don't want to call it a failure, then you are a failure for the rest of your life. But there are things that we are good at and things that we're not good at. We don't have to be good at every single thing on the planet. It's only by accepting that we need to look outside our brain and to think. Now, right now, there's so much information out there. You can read, you can write, you can do things. You can find people that want to talk it. There's support groups. There's all sorts of ways to solve it. The marriage is the number one problem on the planet right now, in a way. people are not dealing with this at all. And the anger between, they're so angry that men are, I know for sure that men are so angry that they can barely talk with women. They consider them like a second, they're not even treating them as humans. Okay, they don't consider them of any value. And this is ridiculous. Okay, there's just a small difference now between men and women. Okay, on the other side, this whole gender issue is, I don't know what you want to call that. That's, to me, is a mental illness. Okay, it's a mental illness. What they're doing is, there's a thing, they did an experiment where they put like 2,000 mice into a cage and they overpopulated them, and they created a situation like we have I think it was called the behavioral sink. It's really an interesting experiment. It was done in the 1960s. Human density is causing a lot of problems, and it causes people to act abnormally. So the denser the population, the denser the human population, the more abnormal behavior that exists. Walk away, end your life with grace, and it doesn't matter how much money you have, unless you are capable of being the best possible example to the people around you. If you are not the best possible example to everybody around you, then in my opinion, you need to make a change. You can make a change. It's real easy. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Become a Patreon, and that allows you to be able to communicate with me on a one-on-one basis in a lot of ways.